Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey. It's your girl Chris.
It's your girl Sade.
And welcome to another episode of
Girl Talk.
Yes. So we're talking now about colorism, right?
Yes.
So I know y'all want to like, what is colorism? What's colorism? Like
is it?
when somebody say, oh, you cute to be a black girl.
I think when I think about it, it's like when somebody give you a reference of a compliment, but it has something to do with your color. Like, why? Why can't I just be cute for
a woman?
For a woman, or why? I'm grown. Why cute is for kids?
Ooh.
Use a grown terminology when you address me.
I'm beautiful.
Yes.
I'm a queen. We'll do your shoulder like that.
Yeah, you gotta do your shoulders, sweetie.
Roll it back. Yeah. Yes. And you know what really brought this conversation was, I know it was a couple weeks ago, maybe it was like maybe a month or so ago, about Blackish, the little girl. She did like a little segment and she's dark skinned, I think. Yeah, the little dark skinned girl, she was saying, they kept on saying, oh, you cute for a black girl, or you cute for this. And they kept referencing because of her dark skin, and stuff like that. So I mean, I've experienced that. I know Sade's a little bit lighter than me, and she got like these hazel eyes.
So?
Look.
You think so?
Now look at this. We're light against dark. We still sisters, but you know what I'm saying? And then in the spectrum of the African American community, we can be so many shades. It's ridiculous.
Shades. And it's beautiful.
And it's just beautiful. So we're just women. It's just that our beauty is just overwhelming to me.
I really
I
agree with that.
But I do want to be honest, as a young girl, that was something like it kind of build the insecurity for me. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell myself that I'm beautiful no matter what, because people would tell my mom like, "Oh, she cute for a brown chick." Like I was so confused. Like, what? I'm not supposed to be cute because I'm dark skinned. Like, what is happening? So I mean, so we have to really watch what we say to children, to people, so we don't make that division between each other. Because I have some other friends who are light skinned, and they said they got picked on because the dark skin was like, oh, you think you're white, you think you're Caucasian, and it builds animosity between us because we've been, you know what I'm saying, I guess, been exposed to that behavior. Like we always say, children learn behaviors. They're not born with those behaviors. So, you know.
I think it was a little bit different for me just because I grew up, when I grew up, I was always around just a lot of different cultures. I was either around like the Hispanic culture, or I was around like an Indian type of culture. So like I think for me growing up, I never kind of got any of that because I was always like around a brown type of population. So I guess I didn't hear anything about that until I got to college, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Like till I got older and was like, you know, like I would hear guys say stuff like that, you know, and I was always like, no, I'm cute anyway, like, you know, it was just always, to me, it was something off about it because it just didn't sound right to me. Like it just was, it was confusing for me. I'm like, what? I'm like, we all the same color. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, you touched on a real one about that dating. Like guys saying, I only date light skinned girls. I don't date dark skinned girls, and girls saying that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a people, we are all, you know what I'm saying, African American. So making that division in us, I mean, I don't know where it's stemming from, and it's kind of crazy because even me as a child, like I grew up around Hispanics, Caucasian, Middle Easterns, you know, a lot of plethora of different races. It wasn't that. It was just that because of my skin color, because I'm the darker version, that there was different things. Like sometimes they would expect me to be the rowdy one versus the other girl. I remember in college I had this conversation because I took African American studies, and the young girl was like, because I'm mixed and stuff, everybody didn't, when she came to public school, she was like saying like everybody didn't really accept her. And I was telling her, I said, no, kids pick on kids. It doesn't matter because you mixed. That doesn't mean anything. They don't really know you mixed. They just saying you probably went there and you was talking about how you kept to yourself. You didn't even communicate with them. You know what I'm saying? I told her she created division there because she identified with her Caucasian side. And when she got introduced to public school, you know, it's all us brown kids in public school most of the time. So I told her we also have to take in a part that, do we isolate ourselves because we think we're different? Like, because I'm dark skinned, do I don't want to go hang out with the dark skinned girls? Or because you're light skinned? It was like a light skinned crew in my high school. You know what I'm saying? So it's these types of things that we do subconscious that we don't even be recognizing. They be calling colorism.
You know, I kind of it's weird for me for me because when I went to private school first. I went to Christian school first, and it was, you know, y'all know it was only three of us. It was on three of us.
1, 2, 3.
Three, and there was one of them. but honestly, when I went to public school, it was kind of weird for me because I just have like I guess energy that people are drawn to me. So like I hop from clique to clique. Like I was friends with everybody, and somebody clicked that. It was just like, for me, it was just natural to be in everybody else's stuff. But again, I'm 6 feet. You not missing me. You're not gonna miss me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like, to notice like color and things like that, like I didn't really pay attention a lot, and a lot of that when I was in high school. And not that I feel like I should have had a little bit of experience from that. So that way, like when I got older and I got as an adult got called the N-word from somebody else, I would have reacted a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like if I would have had a little bit more experience with that. But I feel like at this point, it's been so much talk around colorism. It's been so much just a lot of behind it. I know I was listening to it on Therapy for Black Girls. They had a whole segment about it as well. Okay. But I feel like at a certain point we just have to stop finding things to divide us.
Yes.
Because it's just another thing to divide somebody from something. And it's something, and I feel like it's silly, and it may not be to other people because they may experience other things, but I can't judge anybody by their color. Yeah. I can only judge you by your heart and how you act and how you carry yourself, because that's the person that you really are. To me, it's not about color.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't want to go too philosophical on y'all, but they always talk about this back in Africa. Have you ever read the book called The Destruction of the Black Civilization? And it talks about Africa being, you know, this huge continent, right, and speaking multiple languages, but they was ruled by one government. And then basically it was the elders that would meet up and make decisions. The king didn't rule everything. It was the elders who collectively talked about that. So a European representative came over and he wanted to meet with the king, and he was waiting, and he seen all the people passing him, and he was getting angry. He's like, how they going in before me? And he was like, it works different here. The king has no power. It's the elders. And when it talks about in the book, when they seen that, they was like, oh my God, this entire nation is ran with this, even though it's multiple languages, by this collective force that they all agree upon. Wow. Yeah, to make decisions. And when they saw that, it started the history of the deconstruction of Africa by separating them by color. So the lighter skin was closer to, they gave them better privileges. With the Europeans, the darker skin, they made them seem a little bit more indigenous, you know what I'm saying? So they would like make them feel inferior to their lighter skin. So it became a mental deconstruction of our mentality of how we visualize each other instead of working together as a strong nation. Because it took the Europeans a long time, not just the Europeans, even Asia, all tried to attack Africa to break it down, but they worked in one unit. It took them forever and, like, you know what I'm saying, centuries to kind of break down the continent, because they work together, you know? So they even talk about the women warriors and everything like that working together trying to stop the British. But I mean, it travels all the way back to then. I mean, that's a really good book, The Deconstruction of the Civilization of Black People. Wow. So I mean, it's crazy, and I just see it. And the same thing you can even talk about, I mean, I'm not gonna say the word, but the house Negro versus the field Negro, the darker skin versus the lighter skin in the house to pass for that. So I mean, it's all been kind of mentally imprinted in our brains to
manipulation.
Yes.
You could just from like what you're saying, you could just see the manipulation starting to break a culture that's so strong that you have to manipulate them to break them down, but they're still strong. Like
it's crazy. It's crazy. That's what we talk about, mental health. Because the strongest thing you got is your mind.
Yes.
People don't understand it. It ain't your body. It's your mind. So what that's how they taught slavery. They
don't know how you hit it.
I know. Because you got to think about it. That's how they came in and they taught slavery. Keep the body strong and the mind weak. And that's what happened, and it caused that confusion within us. But, you know, the basic thing that I'm just saying about colorism, some things you could do to kind of reverse that is tell children they're beautiful. Don't include you beautiful for a black girl. You are a beautiful woman, sis.
Yes.
You are a handsome man.
Yeah.
You know, don't make that division between them or divide them and show favoritism towards them. So we have to be very self-conscious of what we do, you know?
I would say address it. So I think a lot of people will want to wait until it kind of builds up in a situation, but no, address it right then and there. Like, no, that's not. She's not beautiful for a dark skinned girl. She's a beautiful woman. I think we start addressing that and stopping that in its tracks. So then that way people are like, oh, you're right. I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have said another way. That means you're correcting someone so they can go correct the next person.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a rotating door where everyone is coming in and everyone's addressing it. So that way we can move past it.
Yeah. I mean, if we going in and we saying Black Girl Magic and Black Lives Matter and stuff, we gotta start Black Minds Matter, baby. Start with that.
Yes, sis. Come on, Black Minds. Yes.
Oh, we gonna hashtag that this week. Gotta tell Robin. Black Minds Matter. Came up with it. Going viral. All right. So we just wanted to kind of get your opinion about colorism. Have you had any experiences like that? Hit us up on Instagram. Leave some comments right on our YouTube. You know, talk with your friends. We want to hear about you in your circle, kind of addressing it and seeing what's going on. Don't forget, our shirts are for sale still. All right.
And don't forget, we got some stuff coming up next. Within the next couple of weeks, that we'll be having a fitness class. So if you're in the Dallas area, be on the lookout for that. But I think that's all I got, girl.
Yeah. So until next time, bye, girl.
Bye.